Hey, everybody. All right, let's talk crystals. So I have my chief feline officer here, Rudy, on the back of my chair, like he is for pretty much every single Zoom I do. And we're going to talk crystal healing. I'm going to give you a little introductory, a little taste of what I teach in my crystal classes. And I really hope that you're interested in this and want to join some of the crystal classes. So I will tell you more about that as we get further on and we get to the end of the presentation. But I come at crystals from a lawyer brain. So many of you know I'm an attorney. I have been an attorney for 28 years. I am formerly a prosecuting attorney and have spent my entire career in the field of criminal prosecution, either in the courtroom or teaching criminal justice professionals, which I still do that. So how did this attorney get interested in crystals? I've always been interested in crystals ever since I was, barely able to walk. I have always had crystals. How I come about crystals is very different because I love the logical science aspect of crystals, because when you can understand the science, you can understand the spiritual. So I opened my healing business 12 years ago, Manifested Harmony, while I was still working full-time as an attorney in DC. And I became an advanced crystal master teacher. And I studied with a science teacher for 18 months. And then I have continued my education since then. So I go crystal crazy at the Tucson show. So be sure to be on my social media pages, because I will be at this year's Tucson show in 2 days. I will be on the ground Saturday. So brace yourself, because I'm bracing myself. And I'm going to have a lot of really neat crystal sales that I'll be offering. So, this is just a little bit about me. I do a lot of different things in my business. I have quite a few certifications in energy healing. I do a lot with essential oils, and I am the creator of the oily crystal. I've written the book, I've created the masterclass, and I help people understand how to pair both together. And what I love about those who are taking my crystal classes, I'm finding that they're all essential oil people. So I love that so very much. So I'd love to see in the chat if you are an essential oil person. So speaking of that, if you have not taken my Oily Crystal Masterclass, it is available as an on-demand class. It is 8 hours of content and a 70-page workbook. It is truly a master class, and the workbook gives you very unique definitions, not only of very popular crystals, but single essential oils like lavender, peppermint, frankincense. I give you some very unheard of energetic definitions. So yeah, okay, I'm seeing we got essential oil people here, we got young living people here. I love that so much. So yeah, I feel like I'm the crystal educator of the young living and essential oil world, which that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I love that so much. So if you have not taken this master class, please do. And the coupon code is not on there, but you can get it just for being in this class. You can get 10% off. Just use coupon code 10OFF, 10OFF at checkout, and you'll get 10% off. And if you have not checked out my Sacred Shift community, I would highly recommend that you check it out, because the people that are in this community are loving it. I'm seeing major shifts happen. I literally bring together every certification, everything that I have ever learned in one community to help people feel their best in a world where most people are very, very off balance, very off balance. So we are shifting, and it's amazing. And most of the people in the group have been in the sacred shift since day one. We are now in year 3, and they keep coming back. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling off, this is a group for you. It absolutely is. We meet up twice a month. You get very, very deep education and learn about multiple tools, including crystals and essential oils, to really help you understand the energies in our world and how to embrace them and flow with them rather than fight with them like most people do. So it's an amazing, amazing community. So I would love to have you in it. All right, let's dive into crystals. So I'd love to know in the chat, do you have any crystals, and what's your favorite? What's your favorite that you have? So I would love, 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 love to know that. All right, so let me dive into just a little bit of science. It basically takes me a half a day in the basic class to go through the science of crystals, and then I spend probably the equivalent of a full day in the advanced class. There's a lot of science involving crystals. So when I teach about crystals, I discuss 2 belief systems. There is the scientific viewpoint and the purist viewpoint. And because I am a left brain, right brain person, I'm a lawyer and a healer, I teach to appeal to both sides of your brain, because the scientific viewpoint and the purist viewpoint are very different in how they look at crystals, how they treat them, and how they work with them. What I always tell my students, wherever you land is right, because both are right and neither is wrong. They're just different. But let's do a little bit of science. So crystals have what's called a fixed repeating crystalline geometric pattern. It's called a lattice, a crystalline lattice. And it's how they grow from the inside out. Now, when you're dealing with a crystal that grows in a point, I mean, it literally grows like a corkscrew from the inside out. And on the screen, this is actually a crystal. I can't even reach it. It's on my bookshelf. That's a crystal that I have. But if you look, you can see the arrows. You see those lines. You see the growth pattern. And so you can learn how to look at crystals and understand how they grow. And it actually gives you information on how to work with the crystal. So this crystalline lattice is what differentiates crystals from stones and rocks. In the crystal world, stones and rocks are not crystals at all. And I see that word being thrown around a lot. You know, oh, look at my stone, look at my rock. No. Stones and rocks are what's outdoors in your driveway and along a beach. Those are not crystals. They're all made of minerals, though. But there's a whole process in what turns a mineral into a crystal. So in some crystals, you can actually see growth patterns and how it grows from the inside out. I mean, on the screen, this is a fluorite tower that I have, and it's just amazing. And I teach about how the shapes and the patterns of crystals have very precise meanings. They have different energies to them. And that really fascinates me. So I like to talk about all of the things that are inside a crystal, because I don't go for crystals that are literally clear, because frankly, they're kind of boring. I like the crystals like this that just have all sorts of really amazing inclusions in them, because all of this has meaning, And so I teach my students how to work with this. It makes me really sad when I go to shows and, there's a crystal that has all these inclusions and swirls, and maybe it's got, an indentation, and people will say, oh, that's a low quality crystal. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because when you understand all the indentations and etchings and scratches and the shapes, it will just expand your world. Absolutely expand your world. When I see, overly polished and shaped crystals and heavily processed crystals, they honestly have lost a lot of their crystalline energy. When I see a beautiful crystal that has been polished and shaped into the formation of a turtle, I mean, it still may be a crystal, but it's really lost a lot of its energy. Now, the interesting thing about crystals is, just like everything is made of energy. Crystals are made of energy. You are made of energy. The air here is made of energy. Physical things that are in a physical form, have what's called a base resonant frequency, or a dominant oscillatory rate. And what it is it's the frequency that makes it what it is. So crystals have a base resonant frequency, and it's constant, and it's not impacted by entropy. Entropy is destruction. We suffer from high levels of entropy. So do animals, so do plants. Because when you think about a plant, like our beloved essential oils, think about a lavender plant. Right now, I'm here in Michigan. We had snow. My lavender plants outside are dormant. They're going to start coming back in April. They're going to bloom in June and July, and then they're going to start dying off, and then they will go dormant, and then they'll come back again. That's entropy, where things grow and die, grow and die, grow and die. We have cells that are constantly turning over. We are constantly growing and dying, to the point where at some point, the cells will not turn over anymore. Well, crystals are not impacted by entropy. And it's why they are millions and billions of years old. Okay, so our physical structure and our cells are not fixed. They are not constant. We are mostly made of water, and water fluctuates. Water changes. I talk about how water changes, and scientific experiments that have been done on how water changes and how it therefore changes us. Well, crystals don't change like we do. So we're up and down with our emotions all day. We may wake up feeling good, and by the end of the day, we're tired. That never happens to a crystal. Crystals don't get tired. Crystals don't have emotional meltdowns. Crystals are constant in their energy that they put out. Now, we are naturally drawn to crystals because, did you know that we have crystals in our body? We do. We have crystals in our body. So you've probably heard that, the animal, the mineral, and the plant kingdom all communicate in vibrational frequencies with each other. If that's the first time you've heard it, it's true. So the mineral kingdom, that's crystals made of minerals. The plant kingdom is our beloved essential oils and plants and trees and flowers. And then the animal kingdom is us and non-human animals like cats, dogs, horses, elephants, pigs. We communicate without words. We communicate in vibrational frequency with each other. So how many times have you smelled an essential oil and it puts you in a different state of mind? Totally different state of mind. Maybe you smell lemon oil and it wakes up your brain. Or you smell lavender and it quiets your mind. That is a communication that our body is having with that plant kingdom. Same thing happens with crystals. It's why people are drawn to crystals and they'll hold a crystal and they have no idea why. But our body at a frequency level is having a conversation. So I see in the chat, if a crystal is shaped into a turtle, does it still have its base resonant frequency? Yeah, because it's the frequency that makes it the shape, the hardness of the crystal that it is. And it takes a lot to impact a crystal's frequency, but it can be impacted. And this is where, you know, I teach my students how to feel crystals. And after a while, you will realize these overly processed crystals just don't feel like the natural form. They don't feel like the natural form. And that comes with practice and that comes with time. So, you know, we're naturally drawn to crystals because of how they make us feel. And so in my basic crystal class, I go into physics principles to explain how our body reacts in the presence of a crystal. We could be holding the crystal, we could be wearing it. I have a slew of people who are sticking crystals in their bra, crystals in their pockets. But just being in the presence of a crystal, I explain how it changes our body. And the short story is when it comes to the base resonant frequency of humans and animals, you know, us suffering from high levels of entropy, crystals have the fixed structure and they have this virtually non-existent rate of entropy. And so the crystals dominate our energy frequency and they dominate us at a cellular level. And I go into these physics principles to help everybody understand that when crystals come into our body, they dominate because they are a more dominant energy frequency. And that's how we start to change. Because people wonder, there's all these things that say, rose quartz is the heart healer and blue lace agate helps with inflammation. How is that? And that's what I go into. I help you understand it from scientific principles of how the crystals literally start changing us at a cellular level. So when we know that everything ever created has a frequency to it. Everything has a frequency. The earth has a frequency. This air out here has a frequency. Water has a frequency. The food that you eat has a frequency. Oils have a frequency. So do crystals. And the frequency has a vibrational rate to it. And so when we have crystals in our home or on us, or when we're holding it, vibrationally, we actually become the crystal, because it dominates us. So crystals have an energy field. And, in my basic class, I show everybody a technique on how to measure the energy field of crystals. And it's crazy. Like people are screaming. They're like, oh my gosh, that's like the craziest thing. But here's the short story. Here's the moral of the story. The bigger the crystal, the bigger the energy field. So the bigger a space this crystal is going to reach out to. Think about it in relation to your essential oil diffuser. If you have a little tiny essential oil diffuser that puts out little puffs of water and the oil, it's not going to go very far. But if you have like the big area diffuser, and that's like spewing water and oils in the air, and it could literally cover an entire floor of your home, right? Same thing with crystals. You have a bigger crystal, it's going to cover a bigger space. You have a smaller crystal, it's going to cover a smaller space. So, we have an energy field that is frequency based. And, if I don't know if you know who Dr. Bruce Lipton is. He wrote the most amazing book called The Biology of Belief. I highly recommend that you read it if you have not. He's a cellular biologist, and it will dramatically change how you think about human health and wellness. So according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, our DNA has these little antennas on them, and our DNA is constantly examining our surroundings for frequencies, and our DNA will reshape itself to synchronize with the frequencies it comes into contact with. So, you know, this is how you can walk into a room, and if you encounter somebody who's really negative and complaining, it drags you down. If you go hear a motivational speaker, it raises you up because your DNA is constantly examining its surroundings. So be careful about who you hang out with. So when a crystal is introduced into our human energy field, so the photo on the screen on the upper right, this is our energy field that's absolutely been documented by scientists. Dr. Valerie Hunt out of UCLA dedicated her career to scientifically studying the chakras and the energy field. And when a crystal is introduced into the human energy field, the crystal will act as an oscillator. An oscillator is a frequency stabilizer. And our energy will synchronize with the crystal. And this is how energy blocks can be removed from your energy field. A block that is creating a physical problem, an emotional problem. You know, if you feel stuck in life, this is how crystals work. Introduce the crystal, your DNA starts to reshape itself, things start to change. So, you know, I teach my students how to understand the layers of the energy field, and this can really help you understand the flow of energy and how it actually manifests as physical ailments. We can use essential oils in the same way. But when a very disruptive or negative, imbalanced energy comes into our energy field, you know, it's got to make it through all these layers out here and penetrate the physical layer before we actually feel it. Once we feel it, oh, it's been working for a while. So, you know, I just love studying medical doctors who understand this and talk about this. And so there's an amazing book out there called Vibrational Medicine, and it was written by Dr. Richard Gerber. And in his book, he says the physical body is so energetically connected and dependent on this energy field for cellular guidance that the physical body cannot exist without this energy field. And if this energy field becomes distorted, like if a negative energy comes in, like electromagnetic frequencies, a negative person, then physical disease will follow. And he talks about how a lot of illnesses first begin in this energy field and then manifest in the physical body as organ pathology. This is from a medical doctor, an MD. Okay, so when people say crystals are woo-woo, it's like, okay, I'm going to smack you on the forehead and I'm going to give you some medical science and some physics. And that's what I teach in my classes. So crystals contain the DNA of the earth, and they have the earth's healing frequencies. The earth has her own frequency. This is what we talk about in that sacred shift group. We track the frequencies and how it makes us feel. So, you know, we feel good when we are in nature and when we're walking on the beach and we're walking in the woods and, you know, maybe we're camping or we're in the mountains, right? When we're connected with the earth, we feel good. This is connecting with the earth. Okay. So crystals transmit energy, and simply by holding a crystal, you will start to synchronize to its energy. And then we will start to feel better. So, you know, crystals, I help my students understand that crystals that have iron and aluminum in them are grounding and protective. And silicon-based crystals, like quartz, amplify. They amplify whatever they come into contact with. They amplify other crystals. You can program them. You can store information in them. It's what Silicon Valley and the tech industry has been doing to power technology. Your cell phone has a quartz chip in it. Watches have the Swiss quartz technology. It's quartz. It's a crystal. It's a crystal. So I love going through all of this, and everybody starts having these aha moments. And it's like, we have crystals in us and we wear crystals on our body all day long. So it's not unusual that we're drawing to them. So, you know, I go through in my class and I talk about Kirlian photography, capturing what crystals really do. And I teach how energy flows strongest from the points of a crystal and how to use a point. Every shape of a crystal has a very precise way of working with it. And when stones and crystals are cut and polished, the energy doesn't flow or direct as well as from a point, but it just radiates outward. And so there's a time and a place for every crystal. There is a time and a place for every size. Okay, there's a time and a place for, I got crystals everywhere, for a little itty bitty tumbled polished crystal. And then there's a time and a place for a big point. And this is what I like to help people understand. So, you know, this is where, you know, in my classes, I teach the scientific perspective as well as the purists. Now, the purists believe that if you polish or cut a crystal or, you know, shape it, that it loses its energy. And if that's what you believe, then go with that. But scientifically, there is no proof of that at all. At all. And the size of the crystal will determine how much energy it's putting off. So shapes and colors and minerals all have very specific purposes and meanings within crystals. And once you get started in learning this, it will be lifelong, exciting learning. You will never stop. I'm always learning. I mean, I've been an advanced crystal master teacher for 11 years. I am always learning. There's always something new. So, you know, I have a basic class, I have an animal class, I have an advanced class, and I love to teach the students how to use crystals in crystal grids, using sacred geometry, you know, because sacred geometry is what the universe was built on. So one thing that I am known for, so this is a grid. This is what I teach my students how to do, how it works, how to create it. This is the art of crystals. So isn't that beautiful? This is what I love. That's actually an active grid that I have going on right now. And man, it's been working so well the last 6 months. I'm keeping it going. It's all about heartfelt communication and getting information out. So this is what I love to teach. So one thing that I really like to teach people about is finding real crystals. So are these natural? Like they literally came from the earth? I'd love to see in the chat. Do you think they're natural, or do you think they've been tampered with? So the one on the left is a citrine, the one on the right is a smoky quartz. Let's see what everybody says. Okay, tampered. All right, anybody else have an answer? Yeah, they've been tampered with, but it doesn't mean that they're still not a crystal. They've been heat treated. They've been heat treated. And when a crystal is heat treated, the minerals in the crystal are just changing color. The purists are horrified and they're like, okay, it's not a real crystal anymore. But scientifically, it's just the minerals changed color. And crystals inside the earth can be heated. And that's where we get all these beautiful colors. It just depends on, if the crystal is exposed to heat or water or gases. So there are things that happen above ground that still makes it a legit crystal. And then there's stuff like this. What do you think about that? Are those real crystals? Fake, 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 fake. And this is what I love going on social media about, calling out the fakes. And there are a lot of lab created, laboratory altered, overly processed crystals on the market that do not have a crystalline lattice anymore. They literally don't have the crystalline energy that I just talked about that dominates us at a cellular level. So I educate my students how to identify them and how not to buy these. I'm not going to put money in the pockets of people who raise animals in puppy mills and kitten mills, and I'm not going to put money in the pocket of people who do this to crystals, because a lot of these started off as real crystals and they tampered with them so much that they're not real. But a lot of these were lab created. In my advanced training, I had to grow a crystal in my kitchen, and I did it. I grew a crystal. It was kind of scary. It's like, whoa, this really can be done. So I teach people to avoid the fakes. All right, so crystals are really important in the energies that we live in. So I think everyone agrees that we live in an energetically stressful world. I see it in how physically unwell people are, how emotionally imbalanced some people are, and it's coming through in horrific violence and just treating each other badly. I see it in, the mental health and the nervous system disorders that we never used to have. I see it in, spirituality and how disconnected people are from something that can give them faith and guidance. I see people suffering. I see people struggling. And crystals are an amazing tool for dealing with change because it's literally working at a cellular level on us. So, and I go through a lot of this in my Sacred Shift group. Every month, all the time, we're talking about all of this. But I also go through it in my crystal classes to help you understand that the changing vibration of the earth, the earth's frequency is dramatically increasing. And it's leaving people feeling anxious and ungrounded. They're agitated and ungrounded, and they don't know why. I have people say to me all the time, I'm so angry, and I don't know why. This is the energies that we're in. It's not going away. It's not going away. And it's not the end of the world. It's literally the earth is evolving, and we either go for the ride because we live on her or we don't. And crystals can ground us to the earth so that we ride the energies better. And I can attest to this because it's working for all the people that I've taught. We also have technology and electromagnetic frequencies where we have no idea what they're doing to us at the cellular level. When I teach people about how you can change water, change the frequency and the structure of water, and we are 70% water, you start to be a little nervous about Wi-Fi and electromagnetic frequencies. And so I teach about the crystals that we need to have all over our house, between you and your computer, between you and your television, on the back of your phone. That's a crystal right there, that black patch, to transmute it. And I actually have an EMF machine where I show how it works. And then we have toxins in our world. toxic ingredients will alter our DNA in an unhealthy way, but crystals, because it's also working with our DNA, can help us synchronize in a healthier way. So high vibrational crystals can help us feel better, whereas grounding crystals can help with the technology and the electromagnetic frequencies. You know, and then we have the stress of toxic emotions, whether it's ours, a family member, a coworker, a friend, or just living in this world. And crystals can help you feel connected to the earth, you know, to something bigger, to God, to source energy, you know, because, I mean, these are amazing. You know, I actually teach a lot of people who are, you know, very religious. And it's like, well, if God created the earth, God created crystals. I mean, these are a beautiful creation, and they're very soothing and can help you with emotional balance. And so, you know, I really teach my students how the energies are asking us to ground and ascend, raise our energy at the same time. And I teach about the crystals that can help us do this. So, oh, whoops, that free class, I'm sorry, that I already did that class. I forgot to take that off, so ignore that. You can find it on my YouTube channel about grounding and ascending. So, all right, so working with crystals. So here are just some easy ways if you have crystals right now. Place, you know, crystals around your home. Just let them work on you. Even if you don't understand what they do, you know, I hope you hop into one of my crystal classes, because then you'll know and you'll be very strategic about it. You know, put crystals in your workspace, put crystals on your nightstand. You can wear crystals. You know, I've got crystals in a necklace. I have crystal bracelets. I teach people how to put crystals in water and crystals in essential oils. So I would hold off on doing that until you know which ones are safe, unless you've taken, you know, the Oily Crystal Masterclass, or you have the Oily Crystal book. The same information and what to put in oils, you can transfer to water. You can hold a crystal during meditation or prayer. You can place crystals on the body for balance. I mean, there's lots of different ways that you can use crystals. And, you know, just like, you know, all of you love your essential oils, you use them in a variety of different ways. That's what I like to help people with. Use them in a variety of different ways. So I want to give you just some of my favorites. So, you know, I talked about, you know, we need to have grounding crystals because of the technology that we are being bombarded with. And, you know, when we are grounded, we actually can shift into a higher energy. You know, grounding crystals help us calm anxious feelings, feeling jittery, racing mind, you know, the roller coaster emotions. They'll help you sleep. They'll help you think clearly. You'll make good decisions. You'll just be calm and peaceful. And I find a lot of people are ungrounded. And ungrounded people have a very off-putting energy. They're literally repelling. So amethyst, very, very calming, especially if you feel, you know, overly emotional or highly sensitive. It's protective. I love teaching why it's protective. That's the thing. You can read a lot about crystals, and I have really dove into why. Why is amethyst protective? Why is rose quartz the heart healer? Why is clear quartz the master healer? I explain all of that. I'll give you a little hint about amethyst. It's a protective crystal because it has iron in it. Think shining coat of armor. Think iron. That's protective, right? When you start looking at crystals that way, you can literally understand exactly what the crystal does. Aura Light 23, I love this crystal. It comes from the Canadian side of Lake Superior. So I'm here in Michigan, and Lake Superior is one of our lakes. It has 23 grounding and high vibrational crystals in it. So it's not amethyst. It looks a little like amethyst, but oh my gosh, I love Auralite 23. I'm really hoping I can restock when I go to Tucson because I love it, and I love it when it's red capped. Because you see the orange on there, that's called a red capped Auralite 23. It's quite rare. I talk about that crystal in my advanced class. It's amazing. It's amazing. Black tourmaline is a really grounding crystal. And this is the crystal that you need near technology. You got to put it between you and your computer. I did this. So, okay, here's a funny story. So I used to work at the National District Attorneys Association in the DC area. All prosecutors, we just went around the country and trained other prosecutors on how to do, basically their job. And I started putting black tourmaline at everybody's computer. And I will never forget one guy. He was a prosecutor out of the Bronx. And he came to me and he said, "What is this petrified dog poo doing at my computer?" And I'm like, "Dude, don't touch it. Just leave it there. It's not petrified dog poo. Like, it's going to help you have energy at the end of the day." And he's looking at it and he's like, "This is weird." And I'm like, "You know what? Just put it back." So I started tracking everybody's energy. And sure enough, by the end of the day, they weren't exhausted, because computers will exhaust you at the end of the day. You've probably experienced that. This is what I love to teach people. The very, very logical, practical things to do. Put black tourmaline between you and your computer, and you'll be amazed at what happens. Smoky quartz is also a really, really good crystal. It's very calming, really good to block electromagnetic frequencies. And if you get the smoky as a rutilated quartz, it's got these titanium rutiles in it, which gives you a really nice energy infusion. And then high vibrational crystals. So you notice the difference here. See how dark those are? Grounding. Looks like the earth, right? Very light in color. Color will help you understand what a crystal does. This is what I love to teach. So high vibrational crystals are helping us with this new energy, with the earth raising her vibration. We need to raise with her. Otherwise, you're going to feel horrible. You're going to feel horrible. You're going to get sick. You're going to feel angry. You got to raise. You got to raise with her. So I love to find the really unique high vibrational crystals. This is why I haul myself out to Tucson every year. And I have a private crystal store for my students and my crystal membership group that is made up of my students. And this is what I love to offer. So clear quartz is the master healer. I mean, you just hold it and it just expands your energy, and it gets all the energy in your body moving. And then, when I look at clear quartz, there's all different varieties. There's Tibetan quartz, which is known as the global peacekeeper. It comes from the Himalayan mountains. It's amazing. It's found in the location of in the spiritual world, what we call the Om vibration. Om. it's the location of the Om vibration. So Tibetan quartz, amazing. Himalayan quartz. I love the pink Himalayan, the pink and green Himalayan. That's the first vendor I go to in Tucson. I have a family that I have bought from since 2013, and they mine the crystals and they bring them over from the India side of the Himalayan mountains. And Himalayan quartz is known as the eye of God because it grows the closest to literally God of any crystal out there. These are very personal crystals, and they give you a very high vibration. They raise you up. So what you see on the screen is basically the equivalent of Tony Robbins. You know, you go to a Tony Robbins motivational conference and you're on fire at the end. You're like, yeah, I'm totally going to rock my goals this year. And then you go home and you go back to normal. Here's your Tony Robbins that you hold every day and you keep in your pocket, and it keeps you going. Lemurians, I teach this in my advanced class. These are, you know, very, very rare crystals coming out of Brazil. We're finding them coming out of Colombia now. And, you know, the Lemurians pick the person, and they are really personal crystals. And when you work with them, what I love is when you look back 6 months, a year, 5 years, and it's like, whoa, look at how I've transformed. That's what Lemurians do. Herkimer diamonds, these are quartz crystals, and they just, oh my gosh, they do so much. I mean, they raise your vibration, they give you clarity, they just clear everything. Amazing. I love them. Kunzite is all about unconditional love. It's about self-love. It's really good for fussy babies and teenage girls. I mean, everybody should have kunzite. Apophyllite, for anybody who is a Reiki practitioner, this is your Reiki stone, is apophyllite. It helps with intuition. It's very calming. It helps with vision casting and goal setting. Danburite is known as the crystal of enlightenment. It's a very pure, high vibration crystal that helps with very deep change and leaving the past behind, because you can't change if you're hanging on to the past. And it really helps you to just release. Citrine, most people think citrine is yellow. If it's yellow, it's heat treated. Natural citrine is a yellowish brown. And a lot of people mistake it for smoky quartz. If you find a natural citrine, it is a whole lot more expensive than a heat treated. But citrine has the energy of the sun. It's very, very protective. It's a very happy, optimistic crystal. Selenite, pure white light. That's what this crystal is. Very spiritual, very, very high vibration. What was the name of the one to let go of the past? Danburite. Danburite. So selenite, very high vibration, very spiritual, just pure white light. I mean, you just feel amazing. Demoterite, I use that crystal to remove blocks. If I have a mindset block, if I feel stuck, I need to break an old pattern, and that's what demoterite is for. All of these crystals I talk about either in my basic or my advanced class, so I go very, very deep into them to help you understand. But these are just some of my, you know, super, super favorite crystals. So, okay, so I honestly would love to have you in my classes, because it will dramatically change how you look at crystals. And if you're buying crystals, I really want you to be a smart shopper. So my basic class, you learn the science. You're going to learn how crystals influence your energy field. We're going to talk about different forms of crystals, how to cleanse them. People think you got to cleanse crystals all the time, and I'm going to explain why you really don't. I'm going to teach you how to program a crystal and which one. We're going to go through 10 crystals. And this is also for the pet class. So I have 2 different classes, one for pets, the basic is for people. I'm going to teach you how to do chakra balancing and exactly how it works from a logical perspective. I'm going to teach you how to build crystal grids and body grids. I'm going to teach you how to make crystal water and understand it. Each class you get 16 crystals. You're going to get over a 50-page workbook. It's really amazing. The advanced class, oh my gosh, this will blow the lid off of what you can even comprehend about crystals. So you have to take the basic or the pet class in order to get into the advanced. But I go very, very deep into sacred geometry, the energy shift, and really help you understand how basically we are a crystal and we're living on a crystal planet. I spend a couple of hours going through how to identify fake crystals. I go through what are called the 12 master crystals. You will never look at clear quartz the same when you learn about the master crystals. I go through like 25 advanced crystals, advanced chakras, advanced grids, advanced body layouts, advanced tools, all the little traits and etchings and shapes and indentations. You're going to know what every single one of them is. You are never going to look, what did I do with my crystal? You're never going to look at a crystal and say, oh, it's got a chip in it. Well, you know what? That chip is probably a key formation, which is an advanced trait. So you're going to look at these a whole lot differently. Now, anybody who signs up for my classes, you get an invitation to my Crystal Cluster graduate group. Even before you graduate from a class, you can join. It's a membership group. We meet up once a month. I bring in guest speakers. It's continuing education. But that group gets first access to the crystals in my crystal store. So when I come back with a ridiculous amount of crystals from Tucson, they get first dibs. Anything that's left over goes up for a public online sale if you've ever been to those on my Facebook page. So there's a lot of benefits to that crystal membership group. We are in our 3rd year of it, and everybody is loving it. So I really hope you look at this. And I offer 3 different certifications. You can become a certified crystal healer, you can become a certified animal crystal healer, or a certified advanced crystal healer. And that you get all the tasks of what to do after the advanced class. And nobody has failed. I make it doable for everybody. And I just love seeing people get the certifications. So here are the class dates. I'm enrolling right now. So registration cuts off 7 days before each class, especially for the online, because I have to mail you your crystals. Okay. So I even have international students take this. I have a special rate for international students because I obviously can't mail the crystals to them. So they get a little discount so that they can go buy the crystals themselves. But I also teach in person here in Lansing, Michigan. So if I teach the basic class 3 times a year, I teach the pet class and the advanced class twice a year. So the basic is generally February. When's it coming up? May and like September. The pet class is February and October, and the advanced class is March and October. So if you want to do it, I would highly recommend you get into the spring classes. Okay. So, and then you can join the Crystal Cluster where we have a whole lot of fun. So, all right. So yeah, you can just go to manifestedharmony.com/crystal classes. You can read more about it. You can see the registration link. Get yourself signed up. I'd love to have you in the class. Even the online classes. Yes, we are online the whole day, and it goes by that fast. Every single person has said, I can't believe we were online for 9 hours. I mean, yeah, we take a lunch break. We take a break every hour. They're stunned at how fast it goes because it's interactive. I have you doing things. So don't be put off by that at all. I bring to life online what I also do in the in-person classes. So they are a lot of fun. And okay, I'm ready to take any questions. So, so here I am. If you want to unmute your line, you are welcome to do that, or you can ask in the chat.
How long will you be in Tucson?
It depends. I'm usually not on the ground too long because I literally run out of money. So usually like 3-4 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Enough to do a lot of damage. So yeah. And I usually run out of luggage space, and it's like, oh, there's only certain crystals I can mail. So yeah, it literally depends on space, but I'm planning for a big load this year, probably the biggest that I've ever brought back. But it depends on what I see when I get there. That's the thing. I could get there and it's like, but honestly, that's never happened. I get there and it's like, whoa, all right, well, this is new.
Well, you can say damage, and I think you mean to your checkbook, but not to us.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I literally prepare for this all year. So I'm ready. I'm literally taking 3 big suitcases. I've got 4 carry-ons. I'm taking my 85-year-old dad with me because I need his luggage. It's like, Dad, I need your carry-ons. So, and then I'll ship quite a bit back. So,
well, I can't wait till you come back to see what you have.
Yeah. And I'll be doing, I'll be doing lives and things like that. I'll be doing it in the Crystal Cluster as well as on the Manifested Harmony Facebook page and on my Instagram page. So I see the question, can anyone go to the Tucson show? Yeah, anyone can. There are certain, the whole city is full of vendors. I don't even know how many vendors are there. There are thousands of vendors. And there are different shows all over the city that you can go to. Some of them, like, to get the best deal, you have to, have a sales license to do that. But there are many spaces that are open to the public without that sales license. I mean, you're still going to get a good deal, but when I go to buy, I get really good deals. And that's why it's worth me going, because I can get much better deals there than I have a lot of local shows around me. And, I get the best deal that I can, but I get really good deals in Tucson. So yeah, if you're nearby, you should go. It's about 2 weeks, every year, end of January, beginning of February. It's really amazing. It's overwhelming. I'll be honest with you, it's overwhelming. You got to brace yourself. I mean, there's something like 5,000 vendors there. It's overwhelming. So yeah, it's the biggest crystal and gem show on the planet. It's the biggest one. It's been going on for like 40 years. So, all right. Any other questions that you have? All right. Hearing none, I will send you the recording to this, and everybody else who registered. We had a lot of people registered, so I'll make sure everybody gets the recording. And I'd love to have you in class. I'd love to have you in the Crystal Cluster. I'd love to have you in the Sacred Shift, because I can tell you from my lawyer brain, this stuff works. It absolutely works. And you're gonna love seeing how they can even blend with your beloved essential oils. I mean, it's just gonna take your health and wellness to a whole new level. So thank you for being here, and I hope you all have a good rest of January. It's coming to a close. So yeah, so I hope you have a great rest of the month, and I will see y'all later. Bye.